All right, hey, good morning. It's Jamie. It is Tuesday. I believe it's the 25th of July. What I wanted to talk about today is a property in Boston. But before I do, I am going to mention Tesla stock for a minute. Only for 2 minutes or less. So, Tesla stock, which can be translated to any stock that you're trading or investing in, any company. Now, for me, I like trading stocks. I'm not a professional trader. I am not an advisor. So these are all just opinions. If my kids were interested and they said, "Dad, do you think I should invest in stocks?" I would say at 18 or 21, versus if your parents are investing in stocks for you down the road, those will hopefully grow, like Apple and Google and Amazon and Microsoft and Nvidia and companies like Tesla, and so on and so forth. So that over the years and decades, like Warren Buffett, those companies become very successful, hopefully, and your little piece of the action grows with the company. So basically, you're sort of a business owner in some aspects, to some degree, because you own a piece of the business and shares of the company. Now, short-term traders, whether you're a day trader, a swing trader, type of person that invests in options and calls and stocks, and you flip them, just like someone who buys real estate. Some people buy real estate and they don't ever sell it. They just, hold on to it and they build their long-term portfolio. Other people rehab them, right, and they flip them, right, or they just clean them up and flip them. They make a little bit of money. So I believe in both strategies. So with the Tesla, the other day I did a video saying, something about I lost $10,000, and for some people that is a lot of money, right? And I don't mean like some people, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, right, for anybody. But what I'm trying to say is that video is like, hey, I missed out on $10,000 because I wasn't paying attention. For me, if you don't like it, you don't have to do it. If you don't like my strategies and my viewpoints, they're just opinions that you can say, "Hey, doing that, that guy's crazy. What would I do that for?" You don't got to do it. It's just an opinion. I don't even say a suggestion. It's just a perspective, right? And you might say, "I don't agree with it." It happens all the time in any capacity: religion, lifestyle, choice of. My wife this morning made me change my tie. She's like, "I don't like that tie." I could argue with her and be like, "What do you mean? I like this tie. I'm going to wear the tie." It's like, "Sure thing, hon. What do you want?" And it makes her feel good. And it's different, So you can do whatever you want. It's up to you. These are just opinions. So the Tesla shares that I own, eventually I think it's going to go up to 300. It was at 299. It's going to go to 400. And it's probably going to keep going. Maybe not in a few weeks or months. It might take longer. But that's a different type of strategy. Right, so you might miss it. You might miss opportunity in the short term, but it doesn't mean that in the long term, the long game, you're not going to win. But there's no guarantees at all, right? I mean, I could pass away prematurely. I hope I live till I'm 90 or 100 years old and I'm healthy. But there was a video the other day my wife shared with me, actually, about a young man, 33 years old, who was doing a squat and he broke his neck. I mean, it was awful. I was like, man. Like, what a tragedy. So you don't know, right? Like, you don't know what's going to happen. Some things are, some things we put ourselves at higher risks, and some things are just completely out of your control. So anyway, so that's my interjection on the stock stuff. As far as the real estate thing, so in my hand right here, I have a property that I went to look at a couple days ago with my mother-in-law, and because my wife and my sisters-in-law and my oldest daughter were in Lebanon. Actually, they were flying back from Turkey, and I guess they smoke a lot in Turkey. But they were on their way back because they were doing some stuff there in Lebanon, and so I went with Mom to check it out. And my family was interested in it, like meaning my mother-in-law especially, who lives with us, and my wife and my sister-in-law, both of them who live with us as well, are very big culturally with the beach, right? Not because like California beach, I was like that lifestyle. They grew up in Lebanon. It's beautiful climate. There's beaches. They spend a lot of time enjoying that type of climate, right there. I am not personally. I don't mind the beach, but I'm not like, it's not like a high up thing for me. But I certainly am not object to it. So this property in East Boston is very close to a small beach called Constitution Beach, which I've never been to. I thought of maybe it was like Revere Beach, but kind of a sort of a private beach, but really for residents. I don't even know if it's private, but anybody could go there, I guess. I didn't see any restrictions when I went there, but what a nice little beach. It was big enough. It had playgrounds. It had like a park area. It had a bathroom, like a public bathroom. I was actually pretty impressed for what it was and where it was. And this little beach was only a 2-minute drive, from the house that we went to look at, and maybe a 5-minute walk, 5-6-minute walk if you were going to walk there. So that was a big bonus, mostly for the family, right? The idea for me, like just Jamie, is I'm okay with living somewhere and living somewhere and living somewhere and renting out and building a portfolio over time. That is my long-term strategy, like if you were buying stocks and holding them. So if they want to move to Boston, I don't know if I would want to move down to downtown Boston. If I didn't have a car, and certainly if my job is not commuting, because I personally am not a fan of driving in Boston. So I think it's a nice area, and it's definitely be a cool place to live for a little bit maybe, but to each his own, back to opinions. So that property, business-wise, now let's talk business. That property for us, it's a single family, but it's cleared for a two family, right? So I could easily convert it to a 2. Right now, I think it's a split level, I guess you'd call it. Easily can make something downstairs, just the way it is now. But all the houses in the area are two levels up higher, or 3 floors. They're 3 floors up. So easily can go up 3 floors, and but it would still be a legal 2-family, so you could take 2 floors, run out the bottom one, and maybe do something at the lower level, off the grid, although I don't recommend that. And Filippo, how are you, sir? It's always a pleasure.
How you doing?
All right.
It's all my pleasure, shake your hand too.
Nice day today, right?
You do.
All right, brother. I think that's sorry, I got distracted. So it can go to a 6 unit, but it's about a year or so process, for the permits. Now a 6 unit condos or whatever, you could live in a couple, right? You could take 2 for yourself and rent out the other 4. You could sell one, right, or 2. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities there, and that's also a big investment. But man, I like that. I like that a lot. I think that is a awesome location, and also an awesome long-term exit strategy, whether you're going to keep it or flip all of it or some of it. So I like that the most. So that's why my vote was, let's do it. Now it's a little more pricey versus buying a property in, say, like Ohio, meaning like you can get cheaper properties in some different markets. And in Boston, you're generally spending, depending where it is and what it needs, I don't know, anywhere from $600 to $1 million at least, and depending how closer to the city you get. Now this is in East Boston. It's only 5 minutes from the airport, which I was surprised. I sat outside for about 10 minutes to see if planes were flying right over the house and stuff like that. But there wasn't any of that. I talked to a neighbor who said that in 30-something years of living there, they just never had a problem. They were very nice. And seemed like a nice neighborhood. So you start to analyze everything. Like, you want to say, like, okay, not only, am I going to live there? If I'm renting it out, whether I'm there or not, what's the rents? What's the market bringing? Is it a rentable market? This property, there's hospitals close by. The airport is 5 minutes away. So if you have people flying and need a place to stay, it'd probably be easy to do midterm rentals there. It's a good neighborhood. The beach is a huge plus, again, for back to renters, if you were going to do that, even short-term, or like, meaning if I was going to rent it out the way it is now, or long-term, that beach is going to be a huge appeal. Anyone can go across the bridge and go right into Boston. Boston is only, not even 10 minutes away, maybe like 6-7 minutes away from this location. And then I have the other component of the Toro business I just started, which with John, and we're gonna have an office here in Boston, and we're gonna have an office in San Antonio. So when you start weighing out all these things about, like, okay, rental incomes, long-term values of appreciation, what kind of rents can I bring, and the rents are only going to go up in this area, in this specific market. Can I add what's a bonus ad is like the Toro business or rental car business. So there's a lot of things there that make a lot of sense to me. So we made an offer. Now, I don't think personally my offer, or our offer, is going to get accepted, but we threw an offer in, and it's okay if it gets rejected, because the numbers got to make sense. And I didn't want to start at the highest offer, and it's been on the market for a little bit, so it may not. They might accept it, or they might counter, right? And depending on what that counter is, that would determine, our next. Got to kind of, or already kind of figured out, analyze, like, what we can go up to. So, hey, I'd love to get it for this. I don't think we're going to get it below this, but this would be fantastic if we get it for this price. And if they counter at this price, I'm okay with that number too. I could live with that. It's still a good deal. The number still makes sense, but it'd be better to get the other, because we do have to do some work to it, just even in the meantime. That specific house, there would be no point in putting new windows in and like really investing heavily into the house, because the ultimate goal will be to go up 2 levels, which you probably have to tear it down anyway, or just go for the 6 unit. So you're just kind of like, all right, let's just make it work for now, whether it's us there or if we're renting it out. So, these are the kind of things that I think about each day besides just work. But I'm always trying to find opportunities that make sense for us. Now, the more people that are involved in your family or in your network, I think it's better. I would prefer to be doing this with someone else as well, not just me and my wife. It would make it a little bit easier. What's up, girl? What you doing? How are you? It makes things a little bit easier for you to kind of be more effective. But you also don't want to, like, miss the boat, right? Because this one would be a little bit more taxing, compared to what I could do in some other places. But it's in the backyard. It's got a lot of bonuses to what we want. And you might find something like that in your neck of the woods. You might find something like meaning a property that you could personally use. And you can, in any way you look at it, whatever angle, it's like, that makes sense there, that makes sense there, that works that way. There's so many ways that it works. It's just like, how do I make this work for us? Like, is it going to be a little bit challenging, painful? But so is going to the gym. I very seldom go to the gym, and go, yes, woo, it's time to go to the gym. I'm not doing that. I'm like, oh man, I gotta go do this. So everyone has a different mindset as far as what they're doing. So I hope that helps a little bit. If you have any questions, let me know. But as far as the kids go, this is what Dad was thinking. At this point as I'm looking at the different things available to me in this current market, right, of what's going on. So hope you guys have a good Tuesday. I'll see you next time.